Okay.
All right, I'm going to start here in 5, 4. This is for Mom. All right, here we go. What's up, everybody? This is Ben Rogers. This is going to be a spotlight episode on performance medicine audio. I'm with our good friend Mike Todd here from IONOPURE, and he just got done with a Common Sense MD episode with Dr. Rogers. I'm highly encouraging everybody to go listen to that, where they go into some of the science of this stuff. It's just powerful technology that I think everybody needs to know about. And Mike, what I want to do on this spotlight is I want to talk about this thing. You know, it was in the episode. If you saw the video, it was in the episode with Dr. Rogers. I want to talk about IONOPURE and this device in particular and how it works.
Ben, this is a humidifier, so it's going to take this liquid. This is really the technology. This is really our product.
So it's not necessarily...
This is a humidifier. Any kind of cold water humidifier would work. We highly recommend ours because it's made for this, but there's not really any magic going on here. This is the magic. This is what is killing the pathogens.
Okay.
So this is a reservoir at the top, and you pour it in like that. You can fill it up to the top, and it'll go about 18 hours.
Okay. If it's constantly
continuously,
running.
yes. So, and then I just put the top on just to direct the plume, and then just turn it on. And so you've got a dial here for it's on low. You can start seeing the mist,
okay,
a little bit of a plume. You turn it up for larger rooms like live sanctuary in a church or a big schoolhouse auditorium. You'd want to have several of these working and probably on maxed out. For this office, low is perfectly fine.
Now, do you recommend going on low for longer periods of time,
Yes.
or do you recommend blasting it out for a short period of time?
The key is saturation. You want to get this hypochlorous in the air.
Okay.
You want it in a mist, and when you start seeing a little bit of a haze or a little bit of a fog, you got protection. So it wouldn't take long. It's already you can see it actually probably pick it up even from the camera. But yes, I would have it on low for longer instead of high for a shorter period of time.
One question I have is you mentioned the plume and kind of the fog. Say I'm in a room and that fog is saturated, it's done. Like you don't see the fog anymore. Does that mean that the air is still pure and that there's like the COVID or the pathogens have been killed?
Well, you want it to be there all the time. And here's the thing. So once something is sanitized, it's sanitized until something unsanitizes it. So that's why we want this to be proactive, but all through the day. This is something that it's not hurting you. This is your white blood cells make this. So it's very natural to your body, and it's non-toxic. You can drink this. I put it in my dog's water. It helps his breath, I promise. My wife wants me to start drinking out of that.
I'm not sure you should try that at home, guys. But if Mike does it with his dog, who knows?
But so this is proactive and constant. Okay. Then we use this mister. I'm just going to hold this up so the camera can see it. This is for reaction or after a major service or a movie theater that you're wanting to sanitize after the show or whatever.
It almost looks like a leaf blower, and I've seen you work it in our office. It actually acts as one. You're blowing out this.
It's taking this same substance, and instead of being just a foggy, it's shooting it out 28 to 30 feet, so you can do it very, very quickly.
Now, one question
for airplanes, think about going in and cleaning an airplane after it's I've lost my train of thought. Hopefully, I'm glad Jeannie can edit this out. We're not having to start over, are we?
We're good. We're good. We're good.
After it's at the jetway and everybody's off the plane, deplaned.
What's interesting though, I've seen you use this. It seems very concentrated to me. So are you actually, does it need to spread? Do you need to?
Well, yes, it does.
Okay.
Oh, believe me. So this will shoot about 28 to 30 feet and you'll just start seeing it spread out.
Okay, so you can shoot it in a concentrated direction and then it'll spread on its own.
Yes. So if you're in a warehouse, you do want to move it around a little bit just so that plume is moving and that energy behind it from this mister is getting everything saturated.
And do you want the fog? Is that a sign that it's working or that it's out there?
Yes,
so
this is not going to hurt you. So it actually is feedback for whoever's in the room that they're being protected.
Really interesting. And the thing that I love is that it's just constantly going. It reminds me of one of those things. It's a diffuser, and it's essential oils. an essential oil diffuser is kind of what it looks like if you can't see
It's
the
the
fog
same.
coming out.
It's the same technology making it mist. Like
Yeah.
this. It is. Yeah.
I love that, and what it's going to make people feel just safer if they see one of these things. I would imagine just knowing that that place is pathogen free.
Yeah.
Which is, I want to kind of push back on that. So you mentioned pathogen. This was developed before COVID, and it can kill any sort of virus. So it's not just COVID in particular. Can you talk a little bit more about that as far as like was it actually invented because of that? Because of like you said, SARS in the interview with Dr. Rogers, was it invented for that purpose?
Well, I mean, the scientists behind this, they just felt like that they had come up on something. If they could harness the energy and the effectiveness of hypochlorous, like in a swimming pool, if they could somehow harness that ability, package it, and then make it useful, that there's really no end to what it could do for you in terms of killing any kind of germ. So they did a lot of testing on this. They fine-tuned it. There was a lot of research and development before we ever launched the business. And we have 8 patents on it when we launched the business. So it wasn't like we launched the business, then we created this.
Right.
So it was just scientists, and that's why the investors wanted to jump in, and because they recognized that we were on to something. Now, this was before COVID.
Yeah.
But it was post-SARS. And influenza is always a problem every single year in the schools. Always. So that's really what it was developed for, is to make our workplaces safer, our schools safer, just our normal transportation, deplaning and replaning in a commercial airline, what they have to do in a very short period of time. So we've enabled that now.
What do you envision like this in people's homes and their bedrooms? Or do you think this is more, in a medical practice, in the schools, in the churches? Like this in particular, I can see this in the home.
Yeah.
It looks like something that
we have it in our home, and our next door neighbor's got it in their home. Our next door neighbor's neighbor has it in their home. So yes, it's really set up to be more and more for us as a business venture, B2B, selling to another business that needs protection to stay in operation.
Yeah.
And that includes nonprofits and churches. But this is perfect for a home. Especially if you've got a lot of kids, or if you've got any kids that are coming in with neighbors' kids, and that's like I used to do with your dad all the time. I was at your house all the time, and so I could be bringing in disease to the Rogers family, and vice versa. So you definitely want to keep them in home. So that's why we have the 2 retail stores. It's more B2C then, business to consumer, but most of our dollars are coming in from business to business.
It's really interesting, and it seems like the different mechanisms for delivering the substance. Can I say substance? Is that the right way of saying it? Is that would be more B2B inside of an office. That could be something that could be in your bedroom or in the living room if you're having people over. And I want to ask one more question. I know you got to go. So
one more thing I want to share too that's in the future, and it's very close, very near future.
Yes, please do. Hold that thought.
Okay.
My question is, so would I, if I'm having people over, I don't necessarily have to have this thing running the whole time. I have it while the people are over, and then after they leave, and then if it's just me, then I can turn it off because any potential pathogen is already killed.
That's correct.
Okay, so that's kind of the purpose of it. Would be
a real life story was yesterday. Our small group leader from church, a good friend of mine. We've got a meeting on Sunday, and he was having a meeting last night. Several people were coming into his home, and he said, "Mike, I've got to have one of those humidifiers." So I brought him one yesterday, and I told him, I said, "Turn this on about 1 hour before they get there, so that you can already get the effect." You don't want to turn it on when they get there. That might be even a little bit too late. So you want to turn it on about an hour before, start getting the air saturated.
From us, from the people that were there to
get it saturated before they come. So when they walk in your door, anything coming out of their body, their nose, their mouth,
is killed.
From normal exhaling and all that is going to be killed. So you don't want to be catching up on that. You want to have that proactively. And I would leave it on probably an hour after they left.
Okay. So an hour before, hour and during, and then an hour afterwards.
During and after, yes.
Gosh, that's going to make people feel so much more protected, and much more willing to have people over. And one of the things I'm saying is, people are afraid to be around people right now, and it's having terrible consequences on their mental health. Like we're down. It's the winter. You're not able to hang out with your friends or family.
Oh,
And this like that to me is like the biggest thing with this is that it allows us to be in community again. Which I'm so glad you mentioned that about the churches and what you're doing at
schools.
Youth.
I mean, our kids learn more from being in a social environment at least as much, if not more, than the book that they're reading from virtually.
We are social creatures. And,
we are.
And it's never been more obvious than it is right now when that's kind of taken away from us. So you wanted to mention something.
Yes. So here's what we're going to be doing in the very near future.
Okay.
To make this more cost-effective for consumers, cost-effective for businesses. Because right now we're manufacturing everything in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Right.
Our problem is now how can we make this useful in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Chicago, Illinois? We can't. We can ship you this product. We can overnight it to you. But guess what? That's pretty expensive.
Right.
Just from a logistics standpoint. This is water-based, so it's heavy. It's a liquid. So when you're shipping liquid, you're shipping a lot of cost.
Right.
We're going to have generators off-site to where you can actually, if you're a Y12 in Oak Ridge, they'll be generating their own. We've got the recipe. We're going to have a generator. All you would need is a water source, a clean water source. There's plenty of clean water at a lot of places, And anyway, you could even bring it in if that was the only thing that was keeping you from doing it. So even like Pilot Corporation in Knoxville, they would have multiple generators around the country. Then they're distributing in a much shorter period of time and a shorter distance.
Would this create distribution centers for you guys in the sense of
yes, it'll enable
you
distribution.
can put something closer to Albuquerque?
Yeah, I'm just saying. Yeah, of course, yes, it could. But more so, you could actually buy these generators from us and create your own.
Huh.
And we'll have a gauge on it to where we know how much of this you're using.
Interesting. Similar to like a Brita water filter in the sense that
Yeah.
you put the filter in your home
Yes.
and all you need is water, and then of course the technology that comes with Brita. Is it?
It can be as small as a really large water cooler in a typical office.
Okay.
It could be as small as that for a small office, or it could be as large as a container size, a rail and shipping container.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's where your a Y12 or something would come in handy to have something like that. We're really close to being able to do that. So you have we're not shipping water then. You have the water source there, and we're just getting the secret sauce over to you, and we know how much of it you're generating and how much you're using, and you do it on a subscription basis.
I think that's amazing.
Sanitation as a service.
Which is going to become a thing.
Yeah.
Like right now, we've never been more concerned with sanitization. And I think, part of the thing that Dr. Rogers was saying is we're seeing a little less flu this year. And part of that's because we're seeing so much COVID. But I think people are becoming a little more aware of, washing their hands and staying home when they're not feeling well, that sort of thing. So, I think this is going to be amazing. I'm so excited about that. I really appreciate you coming over here and driving to Kingsport and talking to Dr. Rogers about this, talking to me, and thus educating our audience here, because this is going to be a thing. This is
no question.
Dealing with COVID is not going to end in March. Like this is something that we need to. It's going to be kind of a new reality to some degree. And so, Mike, Todd, I appreciate you so much. This is IONOPURE. The company is Ionogen. Check them out. We'll have the website to that in the show notes. This has been Spotlight with Ben over at Performance Medicine Audio. Thank you guys for joining us. Mike, Todd, elbow me.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, man. Thank you, guys.